How's it going, everybody? So we're back out in the back 40 right now. So got something howling in the distance. The venue down the way is having a wedding right now, so there's gonna be some noises in the background. But anyways, so I was standing right here last night. I took my 17-year-old cousin Gabriel out here because he wanted to learn about Sasquatch, and brought him out here probably about 11 o'clock last night. Now, I know for the majority of you who know me, I don't do night ops and stuff, but something just told me that I had to bring him out here and have him experience something. And so we were standing right here about 11 o'clock last night. And today is August 15th, so this happened on August 14th. And he kept saying, he was like, I feel like I'm being watched right now. And I said, okay, close your eyes, don't point, but put your hand up in the direction that you feel it coming from and stop when you feel it the most intense, okay? And he was like, okay. And he started doing that, and he was holding his hand up, and he stopped right over here. And he was like, but I feel it from here, and I feel it over here. And I said, okay. So I want you to think really hard, okay? Introduce yourself. Tell them what your name is, but do this in your head, okay? And he's like, okay. He's only 17 years old, so he's still got a lot to learn and stuff. But he told me, he was like, I feel like somebody just said hi to me. And I'm like, really? Okay. Do you know what kind of voice it was? And he said, I don't know. It just sounded like a whisper, like it said hi. And I was like, okay, ask them the same way that you heard that. Ask them to whistle for you. And he's like, okay. And just behind us, in the same direction that he was like, I feel something's over here and stuff, we could distinctly hear a different sounding cricket that didn't sound normal. Now I get a lot of people are going to be like, oh, okay, okay, whatever. No, I understand where you guys are coming from too, thinking that. And then he said something that made my hair stand up, because I can't tell you how many times I've been on these mind speak journeys with my mother and Tanya, and they keep telling me the same thing: gratitude, 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 and stuff. And I'm like, okay, well, that's interesting and stuff. Well, last night, that's exactly what Gabriel had said too. And I said, really? That's what they told you? He said, yeah, I hear gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. And I'm like, okay, that's pretty wild right there. That's pretty big news right there, considering that ties into many, many different mind speak sessions with four different people, not including Gabriel. Then little guy goes to bed last night, gets up this morning, and he has to tell me, I had a dream about Sasquatch last night. I said, really? What'd you dream? And he was like, I don't know, we were all just kind of minding our own business. I heard somebody was out on the porch, so I stepped out on the porch, and I looked down the driveway, and I saw this big, tall, hairy guy who was clearly a Bigfoot, and he was just walking up and down the driveway, and he just looked over at me and just kind of nodded and walked off. And I said, really? Could you tell what he looked like? And he was like, I'll never forget his face. I said, what did his nose look like? He's like, it looked like our nose, but it had 2 wrinkles on it, like kind of smushed a little bit, but still a human nose. And I was like, anything else you can tell me about it? And mind you guys, I hadn't said a word to him about Braids. In fact, I told him what Braids' real name was, which I can't say. I just heard a chirp. Oh. Oh, that's a bird. Okay. But anyways, so I told him, I was like, okay, well, describe what he looked like to me then. He was like, his hair was real long. He was about maybe 6 foot or so, maybe a little bit taller. And his hair was real dark. He was like, but what made his hair really stand out was it was braided, and braided almost down to his waist. And I was like, was it male or female? He was like, oh, it was definitely male. And so I sat him down and I told him who Braids was. I told him that Braids was my buddy. And then I proceeded to show him the castings that Braids has left us, his handprints and his footprint, and all the gifts that they've been giving us. And he just sat there and just wide-eyed in amazement and was just, I met your friend? I'm like, yes, you did. Yes, you did. This is how they've been communicating with us. And what you have told me is identical to Jamie's eyewitness account and through other visions or dreams, if you would, of him. And so his first night staying here at Site Hotel, and he's had the clearest bit of mind speak that we've had here in months, and backed up quite a bit of what we have to offer here through evidence and stuff. So I gotta make this quick because like I said, I don't like being out here after dark and stuff. This is not our realm, this is their realm and stuff. So I just wanted to let you guys know there's still quite a lot happening here at Site Hotel that is completely bizarre, absolutely bizarre. And after a long day of going to the fair and enjoying some family fun and everything, we're finally back. And I'm waiting for my mom to show up so that I can talk to her about gratitude and about Braids. So we was hoping that Braids would do some sort of glyph or symbol or something like that, but it's also through our understanding too that being both part spirit and physical, being able to walk between the worlds basically as they do, they are able to telephone in through I guess like astral projection and stuff. That's my best theory, that's my best take on it. Now, this is still stuff I do not understand fully, but I just wanted to share with you guys what just happened, and it's pretty wild. So God bless you guys. Thank you all so much for your support, and stay squatchy.